Disney World is not for everyone, but before you ride off a vacation to the House of the Mouse, allow us to dispel a few of your doubts and fix some major issues that could cause you to hate Disney World. Hey everybody, it's AJ for Disney Food Blog. Disney World is known for that epic technology and rides, heartwarming character interactions, and over-the-top immersion. But there are a lot of things that happen in Disney World that are less than magical and can quickly turn your fairy tale vacation into a nightmare. So today we're going to talk about some negative things you could encounter at Disney and how to make sure they don't ruin your trip. We're going to start right at the top with those expenses. A lot of people hate Disney just because it is pricey and it will definitely drain your wallet. You know this, your friends know this, your family knows this. Your neighbor from 10 years ago knows this. And Disney just keeps getting more expensive as time goes on. Sometimes the initial expense, as well as the prices you'll pay while you're at the parks, goes beyond sticker shock. Your vacation becomes a comparison game of, was this really worth the price? And that's all you're thinking about the whole time you're in Disney World. Is it worth it? Sometimes it's even worse if you're traveling with someone who's a bit of a penny pincher back home. You're wanting them to have a good time, but you also know they're going to be constantly grumbling about the cost. If you do want to enjoy the parks, but the guilt of spending a ton of money all week long is going to be the only thing you'll be able to focus on, then the key is to plan ahead so money doesn't have to be the main focus. Plan 1, set up a payment plan. The farther out you can start saving up to pay off that Disney resort stay, the better. When you make a reservation for a hotel room, you will only have to pay for the initial deposit that day, which is equal to a one-night stay. You'll pay for the remainder of the balance either when you arrive if it's a room-only reservation, or a few weeks ahead of time if it is a vacation package. So the further out you book, the more time you have to save instead of worrying about dropping a huge payment all at once. Side note, make sure your bank is aware that you'll be making some pretty hefty purchases in Orlando before you go. Many banks have a debit credit spending limit that will shut your card down, which might lead to a lengthy phone call back home to get your card back up and functioning again. Now, if you book a vacation package, which includes park tickets alongside your hotel room, you'll have to pay an initial $200 deposit. Then you'll be able to check out your remaining package balance on the My Disney Experience app under My Plans and complete the payment at any time leading up to the due date. Now, don't forget to keep a close eye on Disney's special offers, deals, and discounts page. Throughout the year, Disney's going to post resort and package discounts, which can still be applied to Disney-owned hotel rooms you've already reserved. We, of course, write about those on Disney Food Blog. We talk about them here on the channel, and we put them in our newsletter for you as well. Okay, plan 2, set a budget. Unfortunately, once you've paid off your travel expenses, your room, your tickets, the payments don't stop there. You're going to have to make sure you budget for food and any souvenirs you might want to bring back home. You can research food and drink prices ahead of time on the Disney World website or on Disney Food Blog. You can also order our 2022 DFB Guide to Walt Disney World Dining from the dfbstore.com, which includes a full budgeting chapter to help you make the most out of your dining in Disney World. Along with a price analysis section, you're going to find facts like dining hours, phone numbers, and restaurant closures and openings. And we're also going to give you an honest review of those items so you can learn which snacks and meals might be more worth the cost. If you're iffy on spending the money on a guide, don't be. You can type in the code YouTube before checkout for a discount on your overall purchase. And if you feel like the guide isn't worth the money you spent, just tell us and we'll get you a full refund. No strings attached. Then it's best to over budget by at least $100 just in case you need to figure in any unplanned expenses while you're at the parks. For more money saving tips that come directly from our readers' mouths, check out our post covering the 6 ways to shop smart, save, and track down the best discounts. Another reason people could really hate Disney World is that they feel like it's just for kids. You're not the type to wear mini ears, you're not going to meet the characters, and you're definitely not going to cry during fireworks. Right now, if this is you, then this might be a reason that you're going to hate Disney World. It's easy to write off Disney World as a kid-centric vacation, and in a lot of ways, you're not wrong. Disney definitely caters to kids when it comes to lots of their rides and shows and activities. So let's say you have to go to Disney World with the kids in your life, but you're really feeling like you're not going to have a great time. Is there really something for everyone, just like Walt promised all those years ago? Well, yeah, there is. And here are a few options you might want to consider. You could take a trip around the world. Epcot is often referred to as the more adult park of the bunch, mainly for its World Showcase offerings. And when you visit the 11 different pavilions, you'll not only get to experience a little bit of a foreign country, but you'll also be able to try the cuisine, shop around the unique stores, and learn more about each of the cultures represented through some tucked away side exhibits. Plus, those seasonal seasonal festivals offer some great eats and drinks and offerings that the whole family can enjoy. So that stuff isn't just little kid Disney stuff. That's grown-up great food. You can also have a Disney shopping day. So Disney Springs is the home of lots of shops, Disney and non-Disney alike, classy restaurants or not so classy if you're looking for a more lax environment, and entertainment options like bowling at Splitsville Luxury Lanes, movies at AMC Theater, amphicar tours at the Boathouse, Cirque du Soleil is there, tethered hot air balloon rides, and you can fill a day here and still cater to both kids and adults alike. You also might want to try a signature restaurant. If you can escape for a date night while on your vacation, Disney World's going to provide you with some really great signature meals, as long as you make those reservations ahead of time. Inside the parks, you might grab yourself a dinner for two over at Le Cellier in Epcot or Hollywood Brown Derby in Disney's Hollywood Studios. At the resorts, you'll find those classy vibes at restaurants like California Grill at Contemporary Resort, Narcoossee's at Grand Floridian Resort, Citrico's is over there at Grand Floridian as well. One of my favorites is Jiko at Animal Kingdom Lodge. Now, bonus points, some of these restaurants have fireworks viewing for Magic Kingdom if you want to up that romantic atmosphere by like 5,000%. Now, in Disney Springs, I'm always up for a night at Morimoto Asia or the Boathouse or Homecoming. These aren't necessarily signature restaurants. Morimoto Asia is, but the other two aren't. But they're really good. And that's something to definitely consider if you're there, kind of looking for a non-kid-centric experience. Now, if you're like, yeah, that sounds great and all, AJ, but we don't have extra adults tagging along with us to watch the kids. Okay, valid point, but you still have options. If you're looking for on-property childcare, Camp Dolphin over at Walt Disney World Swan and Dolphin Hotels can watch your kiddos for you for a price, whether you're staying at the hotel or not. There are 3 different packages you can choose to purchase: Camp Dolphin Early Evening, Late Evening, or All-Inclusive. Rates for each are listed on the Swan and Dolphin website. And Camp Dolphin's got activities like board games, arts and crafts, video games, movies, and themed seasonal activities, and it's all overseen by a staff of qualified folks. And though Disney doesn't offer any in-room childcare options themselves, you can reach out to their recommended Kids Night Out childcare agency. This provides professionally trained caregivers to come to your hotel and watch the kids without you having to drop them off somewhere else. Or you can find a happy medium for your family and eat somewhere that'll appeal to the kids and more sophisticated, adventurous adult palates. Storybook Dining at Artist Point is located at Disney's Wilderness Lodge, and it's in an enchanted forest where you can meet Snow White and the dwarfs, but prob's not all 7 because that get a little crowded, and the Evil Queen. But the prefix menu here has some really solid options for grown-ups too. So I don't think you're going to be upset with the food here. It's actually quite good. Now, next, let's talk crowds. Of course, we're going to talk crowds. Y'all, everybody's at Disney World right now. There is revenge travel going on like crazy. So crowds have always been a big deal in Disney World, especially around those popular travel seasons like spring break, summer vacation, holidays. But recently, Disney World hasn't had much relief in terms of those crowd levels. A lot of folks are making up for those vacations they lost during 2020 and 2021, which means you're going to endure wraparound ride lines, congested pathways, and shoulder-to-shoulder fireworks crowds. If you're someone who gets extremely uncomfortable when your personal bubble is constantly being popped, Disney could end up being more draining and less entertaining for you. So is there still a way you could enjoy Disney World without all the hustle and bustle? Well, not really. The crowds kind of come along with the whole package deal. That being said, we've got some tricks up our sleeve for you. First of all, have a resort day. Afternoons at a Disney World park, crazy busy. Afternoons at a Disney World hotel, not so much. Sure, you'll still have people populating the pools and enjoying the other recreational offerings around the area, but crowd levels are going to be a lot less intense at your hotel since most everyone else is going to be in those parks. And some of our favorite days here at DFB have been resort days, lounging in those beachside hammocks, grabbing a drink from one of the lounges, and just relaxing in the peace and semi-quiet. 2, be sure to take advantage of the underrated experiences. Crowds are going to be most prominent at the more popular lands, Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, Toy Story Land, Pandora, World of Avatar. They're also going to flock around more popular rides like Seven Dwarfs Mine Train in Magic Kingdom and Remy's Ratatouille Adventure in Epcot. But some of these paths less traveled really do make all the difference. Look at the My Disney Experiences virtual map and see what rides and attractions might be a 20-minute wait or less. If the park is especially busy the day of your visit, try skipping the rides for a bit and doing some exploring. Epcot has great side exhibits throughout the World Showcase you can pop your head into for some fun mini museums and a bit of AC. Disney's Animal Kingdom has so many animals for you to say hello to on their trails and over at Rafiki's Planet Watch, which you can get to via the Wildlife Express train. Disney's Hollywood Studios, well, kind of feels crowded at all times, but you can still get moments of relief and space during the shows that house a lot of guests at once, like Indiana Jones Epic Stunt Spectacular or Beauty and the Beast Live on Stage. But for even less crowded shows, you can check out the little theaters, like the one that plays Walt Disney's One Man's Dream on Animation Courtyard, or the one that plays Vacation Fun, an original animated short with Mickey and Minnie on Echo Lake. Magic Kingdom also feels endlessly busy at all times, but that doesn't mean you can't stroll through Fantasyland during Disney Enchantment and experience that side of the park when things have finally started to chill out. You can even watch the fireworks show from behind the castle without having to squeeze up against a whole lot of people on Main Street, USA, if you don't mind missing out on the projections, of course. Next is booking a dining reservation. Being able to escape the heat and enjoy a sit-down restaurant could wind up being exactly what you need. I can't tell you how many times this has happened for me where I've just been at my breaking point and going and having a nice lunch or dinner at like 1 o'clock or 4 o'clock, right there when things are the most crowded in Disney World parks. Just being able to take a breather, be in the AC, have a glass of water, just, a deep breath. It makes all the difference and you're ready to go back out there. So I'd recommend booking that table service meal 60 days before your trip, as we always say, on the Disney World website or on the My Disney Experience app. But you can also see what options are available the day of your visit too, if you just need to get out of the parks. Check the dining availability section on the My Disney Experience app to see what options currently have a walk-up list available. These options could be pretty limited, especially when the parks are real busy, but don't forget that walk-up options could also be available over at the hotel restaurants too. Need more tips on how to beat those intense crowds? You can check out our most recent crowd navigating video, What I Wish I'd Known Before Going to Disney World and These Crowds, which goes in depth on how to handle Disney World at its busiest times of the year. Now, another reason why you might hate Disney right now is because your favorite experiences aren't there. Either they're closed, they haven't returned yet since the COVID closures, or they're being demolished or taken away. Now, we could play an in memoriam for all that used to reside in the parks. Great movie ride, Horizons, my personal favorite, great moments in history with the Muppets, Primeval Whirl. And it's not just the attractions that have changed from when we were younger. It's the way we experience Disney World itself. Fast passes are gone, Disney's Magical Express is gone, even down seasons seem to have disappeared for at least the time being. So I know it's easy to say we should all take Rafiki's advice and remember that these retired things are in the past and they don't matter anymore, but that doesn't mean we don't hurt for them now that they're gone. We miss them. That's our personal history. So how can we shake the ache of nostalgia and learn to enjoy what we have in front of us now when so many parts about the Disney parks feel up in the air and overly complicated and just different? Well, first of all, remember what has returned. When the parks reopened after the extended 2020 closures, everything was different. Many rides and shows, hotels, restaurants, experiences remained closed, and we were all kind of in a state of limbo, wondering what would return and what wouldn't. Fast forward to 2022, during this year alone, we finally welcomed back all the Disney World hotels, full-on character meet and greets, well-loved restaurants like Hoop-Dee-Doo Musical Review at Disney's Fort Wilderness, and eventually Victoria and Albert's at Disney's Grand Floridian Resort and Spa. Minivans are coming back, select Disney tours, the Festival of Fantasy Parade, the Cultural Representative Program, and so many other Disney World experiences we've been missing for the past couple years. Though we miss some of the experiences that are now permanently retired, like that Spirit of Aloha dinner show that used to happen at Disney's Polynesian Village Resort, or we're still waiting to hear about the fate of some other experiences like the Voyage of the Little Mermaid, it's nice to be able to celebrate the things that have returned. And second, it's time to learn about what's new, right? Disney always said, and I'm paraphrasing here, that the parks will never be finished. They're always going to be changing, they're always going to be evolving. The things that you love probably weren't there in the 80s. I often use the example of Ohana, those noodles that everybody loves. Guess what? That was a huge change about 20 years ago when they got rid of the scalloped potatoes, which were one of my favorite parts of Ohana. And the noodles came in and everybody hated the noodles. So the things that you used to hate are now the things that you love, and that's just how the circle of life goes, y'all. So trying to embrace the new stuff, learning about what's new, and figuring out what you could potentially love about that might be a way to reorient yourself if you're a huge Disney fan. The way we navigate the parks is different, and many times different feels off and complicated. FastPass was replaced by Disney Genie Plus and individual attraction selections. Disney's Magical Express was replaced with Mirrors Connect and the Sunshine Flyer, all of which are premium services with different features and processes and expenses that veteran Disney goers aren't used to. And then there's the way we get into the parks themselves that have also changed, whether it be saving a seat in the parks through the Park Pass reservation system, or learning the new rules of park hopping after 2 p.m., or how extra theme park hours have split into 2 separate groups, early theme park entry and extended evening hours. Though all the newness might be enough to make your brain feel explodey, we have got you. I'm speaking on behalf of all the DFB team here. When a lot of these new services were announced and integrated into the parks, it was very overwhelming for us too. We've been able to try them out and we've written all about them so you can study up ahead of time and avoid feeling like a deer caught in the headlights. We've got tips, best practices, advice on dealing with all of this stuff. So I'll link some of the posts down below in our description so you can have direct step-by-step tutorials of the new services to make planning an upcoming trip a little less overwhelming. And another way to help you get over your grief and nostalgia is getting hyped for what's to come. We're getting ready to greet a lot of new experiences in 2020 alone. Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind, Connections Cafe and Eatery, possibly Moana Journey of Water, the revamped Fantasmic and Roundup Rodeo Barbecue at Disney's Hollywood Studios, Mickey's Magical Friendship Fair in Magic Kingdom, maybe Tron Light Cycle Run, maybe Finding Nemo, The Big Blue and Beyond at Disney's Animal Kingdom. Want to keep in the loop with all those updates? Then keep checking back with our latest news YouTube videos and posts on the DFB website. And don't forget to join our newsletter. The link to do that is in the description and it's totally free. Lots of updates go out every day so you can keep up to date. So yeah, the parks aren't what they used to be, but they weren't meant to stay the same either. It's okay to be nostalgic for what the parks once were. I don't think I'll ever get over the loss of Great Movie Ride or Horizons, but keep in mind that the parks will continue to update and morph, adding things you might not be thrilled about, but also adding things that just might become a new favorite experience of yours with time. Okay, another reason you might really hate Disney is all that planning. If you were voted as biggest procrastinator during your senior superlatives like I was, then planning a Disney World vacation might wind up being not so fun. Now that the parks are busier than ever, reservations fill up fast. Long gone are those days when we could just take 100% impromptu trips to the parks. If you tend to put off planning a trip until later, or if there are simply more pressing matters at hand and you really don't have time to do a whole lot of pre-planning at the moment, then this Disney vacation business could come off as a rather frustrating endeavor. So if you need some help, here are some tips for my fellow last-minute planners. First of all, you can reach out to a certified travel agency. What better way to keep on track with your Disney vacation planning than to hire someone to do it for you? Certified Disney travel agents, like our friends over at Small World Vacations, can help you chisel out your itinerary without the added stressors. Booking with Small World guarantees you'll be working alongside an experienced agent who'll monitor your reservations, compare discounts, and figure out what travel dates, resorts, and special events are going to work best with you and your group. We recommend Small World because I know the person who's owned it for a million years. Sorry, Sue. She's very good people. All of her agents do this full time. They don't just do it part time like a lot of travel agents do, which is not necessarily bad. It just means that your Small World agent is going to have beaucoup experience, lots and lots of experience with planning vacations and going to Disney World themselves. Set reminders. The most important reservations to grab before your vacation are for dining, park pass reservations, and hotel rooms. That's it. That's the holy trinity right there. As long as you can secure those, you're golden. So for all my last minute planners out there, mark dates on your calendar, set alarms on your phone, tell a loved one to call you, and remind you to get those reservations on a certain day to help hold you accountable. Though Disney hotels and park pass reservations don't have one certain day where you have to log into the website and secure a spot, they do fill up fast. And after you do get those tickets secured, you'll need to make a mental note that advanced dining reservations can start being made 60 days before your trip. And those, again, will also fill up fast. So get those calendar reminders. You can also remember that walk-up wait list. Super nifty. Again, to access it, just go to your My Disney Experience app, tap on the little plus symbol, go to check dining availability, enter your party size and date of your visit, and see what's available for you to make a reservation for the day of. And there's still room for improv here and there. Just because you have to secure some reservations ahead of time doesn't mean your entire trip has to be planned to a T. Every Disney World trip is going to be versatile in one way or another. Even the complimentary Disney Genie itineraries can be adjusted on the day of your visit because circumstances are bound to change, whether it be inclement weather, exhaustion, a ride breakdown, or a more or less busy day than you were expecting. So having those last-minute planning skills is still important. You just can't do it for every aspect of your trip. It's all about balance. Now, you might hate Disney because you're just tired of it. Wait a minute, haven't you already been here before? Haven't you already posed with Cinderella Castle, screamed your head off on Tower of Terror, waved hello at Snow White, and cheered on the Kite Tales performers? Some could visit Disney World a billion times over and never get sick of it. Then there are those who treat Disney World trips the way I treat donuts. You crave one, you have one, and you go, okay, I'm good to not eat one of those again for the next 5 years. But if you're part of a travel group, whether it be friends or family or a mix of both, who just can't seem to peel away from the same old stomping grounds and revisit the parks year after year, then yeah, I can see why you might be a little fed up with it. So let's discuss options for when you're burnt out on Disney. You could plan a day outside the Disney bubble. An Orlando vacation doesn't have to be strictly for Disney World. There are lots of other parks in the nearby vicinity too, like Universal Studios, Legoland, SeaWorld, or you might want to try out some other fun touristy things around the area, like tour the Kennedy Space Center, about an hour's drive away from the parks, or explore the nearby botanical gardens. They're beautiful. And if you're willing to drive another hour or so, you'd run into several white sand beaches off the Atlantic Ocean, like Cocoa Beach and Daytona Beach. Another good solution is to meet in the middle. Now, this is kind of cheating because I'm going to pull you away from Disney World for a minute. If your group really wants to go on a Disney trip, but you really want to do something different, then maybe try something different that still scratches that Disney itch. Disney doesn't just have its parks. You can also sail the seas on the Disney Cruise Line, live out your dream Hawaii vacation at Disney's Aulani Resort, or even take an Adventures by Disney trip to someplace new like Egypt, Antarctica, or Peru. Okay, obviously I'm taking the whole go big or go home route, but it's nice to know that Disney has personal destination tours that have the potential of taking you on 40 plus unique adventures. That's pretty cool. You can always tell your family, hey, it's still Disney. And you could try something new. Tired of the usual morning lineup? There are thousands of ways to experience Disney World. Have everyone in your group choose at least one thing that no one's done before. Try a new restaurant, ride a ride you usually skip, or do an afternoon craft at one of the hotels. Add a little variety, and you can help break up the same old routine. Now, you can also stay off property. When you're getting burnt out of staying in the Disney bubble, sometimes the best thing to do is stay out of it. Though Disney World has lots of hotels you can choose from, you don't have to stay at a Disney hotel to still visit the parks. You can stay off property, which is what we call not staying in a Disney hotel, at a nearby hotel or even a beach house rental, and drive into Disney a couple times during the course of your vacation. That's what I used to do when I was a kid. We'd go for spring break, we'd stay at the beach, and then we'd drive into Disney World a couple of days during the week. Now, the downside, you'd miss out on some of those Disney hotel perks like complimentary transportation and early theme park entry, unless you planned on staying at one of Disney's Good Neighbor hotels. But staying at a different hotel might be just the Disney palate cleanser you need before jumping back into those parks. There are several fun nearby options. Look at Airbnbs, and really check out those beach condos. There's nothing like spending a day at the beach to relax. And another reason why you might hate Disney is because a bunch of people around you have told you to hate Disney. Some folks grow up with Disney in their veins. Their mother loves riding all the thrill rides. Their dad loves exploring each of the World Showcase pavilions. And their siblings love purchasing anything that has the slightest Figment reference slapped across the front of it. But not everyone is influenced to love all things Disney. When people you respect aren't thrilled to hear about the latest Disney World releases or invest a lot of time and money in the parks, that blah attitude could rub off on you, especially if you're the type who feeds off other people's energy. The same kind of rules apply when it comes to the influence of social media sites too. Negative vibes breed negative vibes. So is there any way to push past that? Is there any way to kindle or even rekindle an appreciation for the parks? Well, you can definitely watch travel videos. If you've never been to the parks before but have always heard iffy things about them from those who are close to you, create your own opinion and watch some other travel vloggers on YouTube or check out some POV ride-throughs of the different popular rides. That way you can have a taste of Disney without jumping all in and spending a lot of money for a trip you didn't end up caring much for. Our friends over at All Ears have a lot of different videos that simply walk you through different areas of the parks and hotels. They are so knowledgeable and really fun to watch too. They've also got all the ride POVs as well as some fun All Ears team challenges like scavenger hunts and head-to-head restaurant battles. Also, do your research. Don't take your families or your friends or even other influencers' words for it. Look on the Disney World website yourself and see if there are any festivals or new rides, restaurants, and overall experiences that sound like something you'd like to put on your travel bucket list. Don't just look up the positives. It's important to research the things that are really bumming people out about the parks too. The last thing you want to do is disregard what's worrying others and wind up completely blindsided. So take a balanced approach to deciding whether you should go to Disney or not. Don't just listen to anecdotal recollections from your buddies at work or the other people in your book club. Do your own research. Listen to people who love it, talk about it. Listen to people who hate it, talk about it. And then you can make a good judgment call on what it might be like for you. Now, we released a video not too long ago that discusses all the basics that first-time Disney World vacationers need to know about, and that covers the good, the bad, and the concerning. One last important quick note I want to tack on here. It's totally okay to not be Disney World's #1 fan. People have had different preferences on how to best spend their time away from the office, and it's okay if yours just so happens to not align with crowds, intense pre-planning, or pricey investments. It's even okay if you're not a fan of Disney World for temporary reasons. But if you find yourself roped into another Disney World vacation with your friends or family, we'll still be here for you to help you make the planning and budgeting a little easier. And as you know, we try to be very balanced in the way that we approach Disney World and how we tell you about Disney World. It's not our job to promote Disney World. It's our job to make sure you have a good trip there if you choose to go there. So we tell you the good and the bad. And we tell you who might like certain things and who's probably not going to love them. That's our job. Thanks for listening, everyone, and thanks for watching. As always, this is AJ for Disney Food Blog, and we'll see you real soon.